Hello, how are you guys? I hope you're having a really good week. You know, it's my fault. It's not my fault, but I shouldn't be shocked. But somehow I am. But I really shouldn't be shocked. But I just continue to be shocked by these politicians. But let's not talk about it anymore. I'm going to show you this clip. We'll watch it together of Gavin Newsom, who is on The View today, and Joy is asking him who the people are that are behind the recall effort, the Recall Gavin Newsom effort, which, if you don't know, they did reach 2 million signatures, which we only needed 1.5 million. So it looks like the recall is going to go into effect, or however you say that, will start. And Gavin Newsom is now starting his own Stop the Recall campaign, and that's what he's talking about a little bit here. So let's just, without further ado, let's watch this together, and we can all be shocked together. But we shouldn't be shocked. I shouldn't be shocked, but I continue to be shocked. Here we go.
Your pandemic policies shuttered businesses and schools. Are both true?
Well, the chief proponent of this, and forgive me, this is just objective truth, the chief proponent of this recall petition supports putting microchips into migrants, into immigrants. The other proponents, the top 10 proponents, the people that are behind this, are members of the Three Percenters, the right-wing militia group. The Proud Boys supported the insurrection, are folks that quite literally, enthusiastically support QAnon conspiracies. And so that's the origin here. Now, as it relates to the people that signed this petition, it just takes 1/4 of people that supported Donald Trump to put a petition on the ballot, or rather a recall on the ballot. We're one of just 19 states in the country that allows this process, but we have the lowest threshold in America. And of course, you're all very familiar. We had a recall not too many years ago in 2003. And so, Whoopi, it goes to your original question. Am I worried about it? Of course I'm worried about it. The nature of these things, the up or down question, the zero-sum nature of the question is challenging and it's vexing. And so, you know, we're taking it seriously. I have to do my job every single day, but I'm going to fight this thing because I'm going to fight for California values and the things I hold dear, and I think the vast majority of Californians, regardless of their political stripes, hold dear.
Governor, back in November.
Okay. Before I just start talking, I actually wrote something about this earlier today because I wanted to get my thoughts together. And yeah, I'm one of the people who set up tables, who is going out and collecting signatures for the Recall Gavin Newsom movement. Question, do I look like a Proud Boy? Do I look like someone that wants to put chips in illegal immigrants? Is that what he said? That's the first time I even heard that. I don't know what so these are a few pictures of some of the people that I was signing, or that were helping me gather signatures for the Recall Newsom movement. Do they look like far-right extremists? I don't know about you. I don't see any far-right extremists there, but I want to read you what I wrote earlier today, and I want to read it to you because it got my thoughts out pretty well, I think, and then we'll just talk for a minute. Okay, so this is what I said. Gavin Newsom was on The View today talking about lying and insulting me, my friends you see in this picture here, and everyone who signed the Recall Gavin Newsom petition. He called us right-wing extremists that support QAnon. I don't know what a QAnon is. I think it's a conspiracy group. Anywho, 2 million people have signed the recall petition. In LA County alone, about half of those are registered Democrats. I talk to people all the time that signed the petition that voted for Gavin. This is not a political movement. It is not a partisan movement. We all left our politics at the door. I've said it time and time again. Gavin Newsom is the great unifier in California. Nobody even talks about politics. We just all want a better California, and we see it being destroyed. We are simply people who love our state and are heartbroken for what it is becoming. California is becoming unlivable for the middle class. 40% of people live around the poverty line. Every day, it seems as though more and more homeless encampments are popping up. Streets that used to be walkable are not safe now. Trash, needles, feces, urine. I can tell you right away, like from the odor that comes up from the sidewalk, if I'm walking around, I can tell you like that if it's dog urine smell or if it's a cat or a human urine smell. Just right away. That's a fun little party trick that I picked up in West Hollywood. Let's see. Yep. Streets that used to be walkable and safe are not. Trash, needles, feces, urine are all over our sidewalks. We have the highest taxes and the most homeless. Gavin endorses and makes sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants and does not enforce immigration laws while continuing to raise taxes on Californians while they watch their quality of life dwindle and their fellow homeless Americans rotting in the streets and have lost all dignity. Our homeless population is growing every day, and I see more and more women passed out on the sidewalks, vulnerable to attackers, young women, older women, in broad daylight and at night. Have you been to Venice Beach lately? I believe the homeless population has almost doubled since the start of the pandemic, and about 75% of them are not even from Venice. Many of them are not even from California. Due to police budget cuts, the police do not patrol the boardwalk anymore, which was what the people of Venice Beach were promised when their homeless problem started getting out of control. And much of it, because of that, has become a haven for drug dealers and homeless encampments. The drug dealers prey on the homeless population, and it's heartbreaking. While we're getting rules on how many people we're allowed to have over for Thanksgiving and how to even use the bathroom, and our kids are not even allowed to go to school, Gavin is eating at the French Laundry without a mask and sending his kids to private school every single day. And one last thing, and this is a little, if you want to have a little chuckle, here we go. Gavin is always talking about climate change and wants to sell only electric cars in California by 2035. Who is the world's largest electric car manufacturer? It's Tesla. Who had to leave California this past year because our politicians made it unbearable to do business here? Tesla did. Tesla left California and moved to Texas this year, the largest electric car manufacturer in the entire world and the last car manufacturer in the state of California. And that's just one business that is left. You would think that Gavin Newsom and Elon Musk, since Gavin Newsom is always talking about climate change, since Gavin Newsom wants all electric cars by 2035 sold in California, you would think they would be best buds, staying up late together, building bunk beds, having picnics, I don't know, but they are not. Elon Musk had to take Tesla and move it out of California. The irony is hilarious, sad, but funny. Anywho, it is very clear through policy decisions, Gavin Newsom does not have the best interest of the average Californian in mind. His policies are almost abusive to the average Californian, and I haven't even touched on the crime. He seems more concerned with optics and looking like a progressive hero rather than his very own people that elected him to work for them. That is why many that even voted for Gavin Newsom want him recalled. Instead of wondering why 2 million Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, and apolitical have signed the petition, he goes on national TV and lies about who they are, who I am. It is one thing to try to discredit another politician, but to do that to your very own people. First, he fails us, and then he lies about us and insults us on national TV. And I just want to talk about one more thing with this. If you've been on this channel for a while, you've probably heard this story before, but I'm going to show you another picture. So this picture is a screen grab, and that was taken, it was a YouTube channel that I found, which is not a political YouTube channel, but this individual who has this YouTube channel, he drives around LA, that's kind of his thing. He drives around LA and kind of finds cool cars, he's into cars, and just kind of films them and sees what's out and about. Well, he was driving around doing that on the night of May 31st when we had our really bad rioting here in LA. he stumbled upon the rioting that was happening, so he just was going around and filming it. I found that, and the reason I took that screen grab is because I also stumbled upon the riots. The news was not accurately portraying how widespread what was happening. So I thought everything was going down like a mile away from where I was headed. And I was even headed away from that area, but that is how widespread it was. It was still going down on this area, also going down a mile away where I ended up. I didn't know this. So I'm in my car driving. All of a sudden, I'm looking around. Every single window is busted out. There's spray paint everywhere, ACAB, cops are pigs, whatever, all of that stuff. And then I get to an intersection, and all of a sudden, just mass amounts of people start coming. They completely stopped us in the middle of the road. At one point, my car was surrounded by over 100 rioters. I'm calling them rioters because it was at night. I saw people that looked like Antifa, people with like pipes that were almost as tall as I am. It was really scary. I even had a protester that knocked on my car door and said, "Hey, you have a nice car. You're going to want to get out of here now." He goes, "There's a lot of people behind me," basically telling me that this is a dangerous group and I'm not safe there. Well, I couldn't make a U-turn. I was completely boxed in. So we were stopped there, I think, for about 10 minutes. Anywho, the reason I took that screen grab, I left. They left me alone. It was fine. I ended up being okay, but it was absolutely terrifying. There were no police around. All the damage that happened. So that car was 2 blocks away from where my car was stopped, and you can see it's a Porsche that's just abandoned in the middle of the road, in the middle of the night. So I was a few blocks away from where that car was abandoned, and I was looking at the video and kind of timing everything, and I realized that was around the same time that I was surrounded as well. So, afterwards I was like, was I overreacting? Was it really that scary? Well, but I bring that up too because Gavin Newsom, all of my elected officials just praised the protests, never talked about how bad the rioting was, praised the people that were doing this stuff. So that is just one more example of how just being a normal, regular citizen that goes to work, pays your taxes, wants to live a quiet life. That's one more example of how if you are just a normal, regular, law-abiding citizen in California, you don't matter. They don't care. You're the one that elects these people into office, and then they don't care. And not even just to get into the crime. So Gavin Newsom also let a lot of people out of prison at the beginning of all of this. He said violent criminals were not going to be let out, and that's not what happened. We saw violent criminals being let back out on the streets, which has caused, or one of the reasons why our crime is getting a lot worse. I've heard stories of grandparents that have to move out of California and move away from their grandchildren because it's becoming just so unbearably expensive here. You're asking people to pay astronomical prices to just live here, and it's beautiful. It's probably the most beautiful state I've ever lived in, maybe arguably the most beautiful state in the whole United States, and the policies are making it unbearable to live here. There's trash everywhere, there's homelessness everywhere. And remember I was saying earlier in that a large part of the homeless population, a lot of them are not even from California, and they come here because we make it so easy to be homeless here. We really do, and I have the utmost compassion for these people. It is heartbreaking. But instead of focusing on our major problems, he's talking about making cars electric by 2035. Or, I think I made a joke once, the way that Gavin Newsom runs California, it's like, imagine having a beautiful sports car. You have this really nice sports car. It's just beautiful and pristine looking. But you open up the hood and there's no engine. There's no engine in it. It doesn't run. Instead of working on fixing the engine, you're like, hey, I'm going to put racing stripes on the side of the car. Yeah, racing stripes. Meanwhile, the car doesn't run. You open up the hood and there's a homeless tent. I don't know. But that is how Gavin Newsom is running California, and regular people that live here are tired of it. And not to mention the hypocrisy with the pandemic. He tries to make it sound like, oh, people are upset because, oh, their restaurants were closed down. That's not what it is. People were more than happy to do what they needed to do to make it safe for everyone. That's not what it is. It's his hypocrisy. It's him shaming regular people for wanting to go to work, or shaming regular people while eating at one of the most expensive restaurants while we are on the height of our lockdown. Gavin Newsom was seen eating at the French Laundry, $15,000 meal or something like that, with I can't remember how many people, with a group of people, a group of people that is larger than what we were supposed to be around, indoors, eating out without a mask on, when our restaurants were not allowed to be open indoors. It's the hypocrisy. It's this restaurant right here is not allowed to be open at all, yet you can set up a movie studio, a filming site with tons of tables, tons of crew, and that's fine. It's the hypocrisy of the whole thing. You know, schools were shut down. We had kids that were like depressed and doing awful things. I don't want to say it on this channel so I can not get a strike by YouTube, but kids that were really depressed and struggling because and even struggling in school, they're not allowed to go to school, yet he's sending his kids every single day to private school. So it's things like this, and how just insulting. I'm shocked, but I don't know why I'm shocked. I shouldn't be shocked. But just seeing that and just feeling so insulted and seeing him lie like that on national television, not about another politician, not about, someone, about his very own people. And again, a lot of the people that signed this petition are people that voted for him. So it is not, what did he say? Freaking microchip. I never even heard of that before. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did that shock and surprise you, or does nothing surprise you anymore? I don't know. Thank you for watching. Bye.